Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Deepika Mehto, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President Joe Biden says Gaza ceasefire deal is closer, but not there yet, as Gaza ceasefire talks paused with resumption planned for next week. US Vice President and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris unveils economic plan in a major policy speech, pledges to cut taxes, support expanded child tax credits. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair the third edition of Voice of the Global South Summit, the summit to focus on sustainability and global challenges. In sports, Manchester United beat Fulham 1-0 in the opening game of English Premier League. US Vice President Kamala Harris outlined proposals to cut taxes for most Americans, ban price gouging by grocers, and build more affordable housing on Friday as part of the opportunity economy that she plans to pursue if she wins the White House. In her major economy-focused speech as the Democratic presidential nominee, Kamala Harris pledged to introduce a new child tax credit of as much as $6,000 for families with infants, cut taxes for families with kids, and lower prescription drug costs as well. The Vice President also called for the construction of 3 million new housing units over 4 years and a tax incentive for home builders who build homes for first-time buyers. Harris also told the supporters at a rally in North Carolina that a state she hopes to win in the 5th of November elections, and the US economy was strong but prices were still too high. She said she would be laser focused on the Middle East class as the president.
As president, I will be laser focused on creating opportunities for the middle class that advance their economic security, stability, and dignity. Together, we will build what I call an opportunity economy. Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency, because I strongly believe when the middle class is strong, America is strong.
Now, Gaza ceasefire talks in Doha paused on Friday, with negotiators all set to meet once again next week. In a joint statement, the US, Qatar and Egypt said Washington had presented a new proposal that built on points of agreement over the past week, closing gaps in a way that could allow rapid implementation of a deal. Mediators would keep working on the proposal. Sarah Coates has more from Tel Aviv.
Certainly appears as though progress has been made, although these mediating parties say gaps still remain, but it does remain unclear as to what these gaps actually are. But certainly what we can expect throughout the next week are these mediating parties to once again come together and really try and get this deal over the line. Now, we do have a statement from Qatar, the United States and also Egypt. It says that both sides were presented with a proposal that narrows the gaps between the parties while being consistent with the principles laid out in the plan presented by President Biden in May. A senior official from our governments will meet again in Cairo before the end of next week, hoping to reach an agreement on the terms set out today, adding there's no time to waste and no excuses for further delay that can be accepted by any party. Now, in the wake of this statement being released, the Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, he spoke with his counterpart Lloyd Austin in the United States, and they've been speaking about a moral and strategic imperative to actually get this deal done. And also, of course, this ongoing coordination with this threat of an Iranian attack on Israel looming. Now, what we can expect over the coming days is the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken to make yet another wartime visit to the Middle East. He's understood to be visiting Qatar, Egypt, and then also landing here in Tel Aviv. Reporting from Tel Aviv, I'm Sarah Coates for DD India.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden said on Friday that the ceasefire deal is closer, but it is not there yet.
One of the reasons why I was late for you all was I was dealing with the ceasefire effort in the Middle East. And we are closer than we've ever been. I don't want to jinx anything, but as my grandfather said, with the grace of God, good little neighbors, a lot of luck, we may have something. But we're not there yet. But it's much, much closer than it was 3 days ago. So keep your fingers crossed.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is all set to arrive in Israel on Sunday and is set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It reported that Blinken would possibly make other stops in Cairo along with Doha. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General has called for an urgent pause in the fighting so that more than 600,000 children can be vaccinated against polio. TD India's Jody Jacobs has more from New York.
Very little is known about the trip at this stage, with Antony Blinken having earlier this week postponed a trip to the Middle East over heightened security concerns in the region and a possible retaliation attack from Iran against Israel. Fresh mediated negotiations between Israel and Hamas started this week, spearheaded by the United States, Qatar and Egypt. On Friday, the three countries issuing a statement saying they've presented a final proposal to the parties for a ceasefire and hostage deal that they hope can be agreed upon by the end of next week. Meanwhile, here at the United Nations, calls are ever increasing for a ceasefire after more than 10 months of intense fighting in the Gaza Strip. Addressing reporters here in New York, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for warring parties in Gaza to lay down their arms so that humanitarians can safely vaccinate more than 500,000 children against polio.
A successful polio vaccination campaign needs safety. Safety for health workers to do their jobs, safety for children and families to get to the health facilities, and safety for those health facilities to be protected from bombardment. I am appealing to all parties to provide concrete assurances right away, guaranteeing humanitarian pauses for the campaign.
Polio virus was recently detected in sewage samples in 2 locations in the Gaza Strip. The disease, which can cause paralysis, the world body says, is now circulating in the enclave and putting thousands of children at risk. The World Health Organization is planning to launch a 2-phase campaign to vaccinate thousands of children under the age of 10. But this can only happen if the safety of healthcare workers can be guaranteed and will involve more than 700 teams at hospitals and primary health centers, many barely functioning. Jody Jacobs in New York reporting for DD India.
An outbreak of Mpox has claimed more than 500 lives in the Democratic Republic of Congo and spread to neighboring countries in East Africa, raising fears of global spread of the viral disease. The World Health Organization recently declared the outbreak as a public health emergency of international concern in order to help curb the disease from spreading further. DD correspondent Chris Okamringa has more from Kinshasa.
The outbreak of Mpox that has been raging in the Democratic Republic of Congo has caused a crisis in the country and the African region. More than 15,000 cases and 548 deaths have been recorded in the DRC since the beginning of the year. A new strain of the virus that is more severe than the one reported globally in 2022 was discovered earlier this year in eastern DRC. The strain known as Clade 1b has now spread to Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda and Uganda. That prompted the World Health Organization to declare the Mpox outbreak a public health emergency of international concern. This is the second time the WHO has made that declaration, which is meant to enable it to mobilize resources and coordinate the response. The DRC health minister says the government is stepping up awareness campaigns and has come up with a national plan for vaccination. Earlier this year, the country approved the use of 2 Mpox vaccines to curb the spread of the disease. But the vaccines have not arrived in the country. The U.S. Department of Health has promised to donate 50,000 doses of vaccines to the DRC. The country's healthcare system has been destroyed by decades of conflict and corruption. Authorities are now relying heavily on the support of international health organizations to contain the Mpox outbreak. Chris Sochamringa in Kinshasa, reporting for DD India.
We're moving for a short break, but still to come on DD India Live. An exclusive conversation with India's National Forensic Sciences University's Vice-Chancellor J.M. Vyas. Interaction with Union Minister Chirag Paswan on third edition of World Food India 2024. And a report on how Indore is all set to create a remarkable tribute to Lord Ganesha by crafting world's largest Rakhi.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after that short break. Let's continue with global news. Now, India is all set to host the third Voice of Global South Summit on the 17th of August virtually. The theme of the summit is an empowered global South for a sustainable future. It envisages bringing together countries of the global South. It will also act as a platform to expand discussions held in the previous summits on a range of complex challenges that continue to affect the world, such as conflicts, food, energy, security, crisis and its climate change. The inaugural session would be at head of state and government level and will be hosted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. US Deputy Secretary of State for Management and Resources Richard R. Verma is leading a delegation to Nepal and India to advance and support a prosperous, secure and resilient future for both the countries. During his visit to India from the 17th of August, the Deputy Secretary will also meet the senior government officials, climate leaders, aerospace academics and industry representatives. Discussions will be held on a range of issues including economic development, clean energy, climate action and STEM education. He will be joined in by Senior Advisor to the President for International Climate Policy, John Podesta, and Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Department of Energy, David Turk. Amid the ongoing protest in Kolkata over the rape murder of a trainee doctor at R.G. Kar Medical College, doctors across the country held a candlelight march to show solidarity. All hospital services in India, except emergency care, are suspended on Saturday as doctors expand their protest. The nationwide strike called by the Indian Medical Association disrupted both government and private hospitals, cancelling outpatient services and treatments. Moving on, India's National Forensic Sciences University has become the first higher educational institution to the country to join the Interpol Global Academy Network. Launched in the year 2019 by Interpol's Capacity Building and Training Directorate, the network focuses on enhancing policing capabilities. NFSU will also collaborate with Interpol to provide specialized training, develop new programs and engage in joint research projects aiming at improving law enforcement performance. DD India's Meghna Dev spoke with NFSU's Vice-Chancellor J.M. Vyas.
Joined in by Padma Shri is also the Vice-Chancellor of the National Forensic Science University, Dr. J.M. Vyas. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to DD India. When we actually see this is a landmark, or maybe we can say a milestone for NFSU to, get a place in the Global Academy Network of the Interpol. How do you think, NFSU will be able to assist Interpol?
We are happy that Interpol could recognize the potential and the capabilities of National Forensic Science University. So training is a very important area for Interpol, and they do this regularly for all their member countries. But as far as the forensic was concerned, when they visited this place, I think we conducted a workshop on digital forensic experts group meet, where 82 countries of digital forensic experts came through Interpol here, including Interpol authorities. And when they saw this infrastructure, the capability, the potential what we have, and they also could come to know that this is the only university of its kind in the world. And everything was available here. We were able to give hands-on training to them. And then the discussion took place as to why can't we be a part of their global academy network.
How do you think that you will be able to help these countries when there are red corner notices and different things that they have to catch the criminals? How do you think digital forensics will help with that?
Yeah, we normally talk that cyber crimes have no boundaries. So you can, sitting in a corner of one country, you can commit this kind of a crime in another country. These are the crimes which require good forensic capabilities with latest cutting edge technologies, etc., which fortunately we have. So we will be able to even do some kind of investigation in this area.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. So here we had Dr. J.M. Vyas speak to us on the milestone that NFSU has achieved with creating a space for itself in the Interpol Global Academy Network. With camera person Kunal, this is Meghna Dey for DD India from Gandhinagar.
The third edition of the World Food India 2024 program is going to be held between the 19th till the 22nd of September. This will be an event which will witness participation from multiple countries and states. The four-day event aims to garner investment and showcase India as the food bowl of the world. Ahead of the event, DD India's correspondent Dipendu Mondal spoke to Chirag Paswan, Union Minister for Food Processing and Industries, on the expectations and the objective of this year's World Food India. Take a listen.
As we near the World Food India 2024, I'm joined by Chirag Paswan, who's also the Minister for Food Processing and Industries. This is your first time as a minister in the Modi 3.0 government, but your father has been a minister in the same ministry. So I'm sure you are much aware of the workings of this ministry. Firstly, let me ask you, what is expected out of the World Food India 2024? I have had the opportunity to visit the World Food India last year. What all is expected out of this edition of the World Food India 2024?
Well, I think World Food India provides a platform for all the new innovations, all the new technologies, everything that's related to food processing, to come under one roof and to exhibit, their innovation, their ideas. And also it gives an opportunity for everybody to collab with each other. Not only nationwide, but also internationally. There are many countries participating in it. There are many ministries participating in it. And needless to say, a lot of states of our country, also come together on the same platform, with their ideas, with their innovation, with their technology. Right. And I think that gives everybody a nice opportunity to collaborate with each other and, to take their ideas back home.
Right. What are the countries that you're looking at that is expected to come this time around and join? Any states that are specifically participating? What are the focus areas of this year's World Food India?
Well, yes, many states have already confirmed. Many countries have already confirmed. We have partner ministries also in this, partner states also in this. So yes, this time it's going to be way bigger than, and that is our hope also, that every year it should get bigger and better. So yes, there are many countries, many states and many ministries participating in. But then yes, this time we have our focused area also. Technology is evolving every day actually. Right. So yes, there are many new technologies which have come, irradiation being one of it, which has been mentioned this time in the budget also by the finance minister. So yes, irradiation units will be one of the priorities in this time World Food India. Also, plant-based protein is something which we and my ministry is focusing majorly on. Also, it has been our motto that minimum wastage and maximum value addition, that is something that we always make extra efforts on. And also sustainable packaging is something that me and my ministry is working very seriously on. And we are making sure that the packaging is done in a way which doesn't harm the environment at all. So yes, these are our concerned areas. which we'll be focusing this time in World Food India.
Right. Chirag, also this ministry plays a very crucial role in terms of doubling the farmers' income, because this is directly linked to the agriculture sector. What schemes or perhaps what measures are being taken by your ministry to ensure that more and more people come into this sector, there are more startups into this sector, and what opportunities is the ministry giving to startups or for investments?
So I think this is one ministry which can directly relate to the farmers, and when we talk about doubling the farmers' income, and so yes, I mean, this is one ministry, and through the schemes, there are various schemes, primarily 3 schemes, and there are many sub-components under those schemes, through which we provide benefits to the promoters, to the investors, to the beneficiaries of the scheme. So primarily, the 3 schemes are Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, which caters to the medium-sized entrepreneurs. Also we have for the micro enterprises, we have PM FME scheme, which helps even the women's, working in the SHG group. Micro enterprises, somebody living in a village, and they want to be an entrepreneur. Right. So this is that scheme, which help them. And also then we have PLI schemes, which help bigger brands, right, to penetrate international market and to make an effort, impact there. So yes, there are these various schemes, which directly impact the stakeholders, and in a way contributing to the farmer's income, contributing to the revenue of a state, and also providing job opportunities to our youngsters.
Right, but Chirag, before I let you go, this is very close to my heart. I'll ask you, food wastage has been a very, very important aspect which have been talked about for many years. There are shortages of, godowns at many places, storehouses. But, over the last couple of years, the food wastage has come down.
Has reduced. Yes.
So what steps are being taken in order to ensure that food wastage do not happen in India over the next couple of years?
So this is our utmost priority. India being an agro-pro country, where the majority of the revenue comes from the field of agriculture only. So to make sure that the wastage is minimized, we are making sure to use every such technology which is available nationwide or internationally also. And I think irradiation is one of that, which provides longevity to the perishable items, whether they are vegetables or they are fruits, So this is one technology. Definitely, we are using all the traditional measures, whether they are cold storages, they are cold chain. So we are using all those technologies. Also, we are looking forward to developing many new technologies. New innovations are coming up. And, we have some brilliant young brains, who come up with wonderful, startup ideas and stuff. So my ministry is also working, and also my institute, NIFTM, is also working on that to encourage young and fresh ideas, to make sure that eventually, we go to a level where there's zero wastage. That is something which I'm also targeting, and my ministry is also working towards.
Well, wishing you all the best in that aspect, and also for the World Food India. This was Chirag Paswan speaking to Doordarshan Network. Thank you so much, and do visit for the World Food India between the 19th to 22nd of September. Thank you.
As Dominican Republic leader Luis Abinader assumed his second 4-year term as the president on Friday, India's Union Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, felicitated Luis Abinader. Margarita further said that India looks forward to work with Abinader and his government to further strengthen bilateral relations between Delhi and Santo Domingo. Indore is all set to create a remarkable tribute to Lord Ganesha by crafting the world's largest Rakhi. This unique endeavour, led by devotees, aims to honour the deity during Ganesh Chaturthi festival in an extraordinary way, reflecting the deep cultural and spiritual significance of the occasion. Once completed, this colossal Rakhi will be presented to prominent Ganesha idol in the city, symbolising community's collective prayers and their wishes. Time for sports news now. Xerxes' 87th minute goal have secured Man United a 1-0 victory over Fulham in the opening game of the Premier League. Debutant Joshua Zirkzee helped Manchester United start their campaign with a bang on as he emerged from the bench to score a thrilling 87th minute goal. The away team looked to have the upper hand over the home team in the early stages. However, just before the clock ran out, Xerxes superbly angled Alejandro Garnacho's cross into the corner. Manchester paid a huge sum of money to sign Xerxes from Bologna in the summer season. India's Sports Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia graced the grand send-off ceremony in New Delhi for the Indian contingent heading to the Paris Paralympic Games. The Union Minister called them a source of inspiration for the nation. Now, with the largest contingent ever and robust backing from the government, the Indian athletes are poised not just to participate, but to excel at the upcoming Paralympic Games happening in Paris. And that's all for this edition of TD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on TD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on TD India. I am Deepika Mehta, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching TD India Live. Namaskar.